Hi guys, 18 Dapper here, and it feels so good to be creating football related content for you guys once more. And where better to start than the 2019-20 League 1 preview and my table predictions. Let's get the video started. Hit the new intro. I got that So a big warm welcome to this 18 Dappers League 1 preview and predictions. If you caught last season's predictions and the reaction, you will know that it wasn't very good. But hopefully, fingers crossed, we get a little bit closer to the final league positions this year. Little apologies to Ipswich fans, your badge is on the screen, it is just behind my head. Check the thumbnail, you're definitely on there. All 24 teams are on the screen, and it is shaping up to be a very good League One campaign. Entertaining. The likes of Bolton, Portsmouth, Sunderland, Rotherham, Ipswich, Lincoln, Tranmere may do bits in the division. Of course, the super red and white army Donny in there as well. So shaping up to be a very entertaining season. So let's get started. The format for this preview and predictions, I promised it earlier on in the summer when McCann decided to leave and go to Hull. I will give my thoughts on him. I'll also give my thoughts on the new gaffer. It is a very good appointment. I think the majority of Donny fans are happy. I'll also go through my expectations for this season, and we'll also have a look at the rest of League One. We will have a look at what teams have done in the transfer market, where they finished last season in their respective leagues, and then we'll put them into the table at that point as well. So that'll be my predictions. So on to my thoughts on McCann. Last season, a fantastic season. Couldn't have asked for any more. I had us down as 16th. I thought it was going to be a rebuilding season, adjusting to a new philosophy, a new mentality, a new style of play, but the players just picked up from game one and just ran with it, and it was such a breath of fresh air to go and watch Donny. It was a really fun season going to watch. Unlucky in the playoffs. I thought we let ourselves down in the first leg, and then showed everybody what we could do in the second, and was very unfortunate not to go through. But congratulations to Charlton, you took it all the way. Wembley won all the best in the Championship this season. Also, part of our season was a good FA Cup run through to the 5th round, which I've never ever seen us there in my lifetime. So that was a nice change as well. Getting knocked out by Crystal Palace. Again, didn't really show what we could do on the day, which was unfortunate, but positives from last season. It was a good style of play, and this at the end of last season I was looking forward to pushing on and looking forward to another entertaining season under Grant McCann. And things started to unravel a little bit in the summer. We lost quite a few decent players, and I praised McCann on what he said on a couple of the players, saying that he wanted the loyalty and the commitment from them. They didn't show him that, so he was happy for them to leave and play wherever they thought they wanted to. So I thought he had a good philosophy in terms of offering contracts and sticking by them. Right. So on his philosophy, saying that he wanted loyalty and people who run through walls for him. Hull City, first team to come knocking, and he jumped ship. That is the bit that doesn't sit right for me. Very hypocritical. I think if it had said Donny is a club where it's like a stepping stone where you can hone your abilities and show what you can do, then fair enough. I mean, I wish him all the best. He's taken a step up in terms of division, but I think it is a big risk. Hull City not run in the best way possible, I think is the nicest way to say it. I'd much prefer the board that we've got, one that seems to want the club to be sustainable, and have the club at heart more than anything. But I do wish him luck. He gave us a lot of good memories at Donny. I just wish he'd have done it in a different way, rather than going out and slagging players off to the media and then doing the same thing himself. Just doesn't sit right for me. We have got a pre-season friendly against Hull in a couple of weeks. Recording this on the 15th of July. We play them on the 27th, so that is going to be tasty. But yeah, like I say, I think if it'd been open and honest about it, I think a lot of the Donny fans would have been more accommodating to it. But the way that he's gone about it and stuff that he said makes him look very hypocritical. Every cloud has a silver lining though, and we got a new gaffer. We got Darren Moore, played for Donny in the 90s, and he's definitely the one on the bookies list that the fans wanted. Social media was going absolutely mental. Steve Evans was thrown in there. People weren't happy about that. Everybody that I saw wanted Darren Moore, and credit to the board. I think it shows that we have got ambition. We've not gone for the cheap option. I don't think Darren Moore was the cheapest option out of the list. I think he was wrongly sacked at West Brom, had them sat in fourth, not on a great run of results, but I think the good thing about Donny, he will get given time and the opportunity to put his own stamp on the team. And already Darren has started to embrace the Club Doncaster brand and the philosophy behind our club and the amount of effort that they put into the community. All of his interviews have been really, really good, and to the point where he seems to be buying into the plan and the ethos around the club, which is good to see. Hopefully we hit the ground running and it's another positive season. So on to my expectations this season. On the screen at the minute is our starting 11 against Charlton, our final game last season, and I was looking forward to adding a decent bit of quality to this squad, a bit of depth, and pushing on to playoffs again, possibly an outside chance of top two. It's a tough league though. And then, as I say, summer started to unravel. We knew Kane would be going back to Liverpool. We knew Wilkes would be going back to Leeds. They were on loan. Downing was on loan from Blackburn as well. All three of those left, didn't return. Kane still at Liverpool. Downing has gone to Portsmouth. Wilkes has moved to Barnsley. So all the best to them. Apart from Downing, when he plays us, don't want him to play as well as what he did for us. But for the rest of the season, good luck. But then the first player to reject a contract was Morosi. He's now at Coventry. Then went Butler. He's now at Scunthorpe. Then Danny Andrew. He's now at Fleetwood. And this is one where McCann came out and kind of said it as it was, or how we thought it was, saying that the loyalty wasn't there. But the more you know. And then finally, Tommy Rowe rejects a contract as well. He is now playing at Bristol City. So, as you can see, a big bulk of the squad has gone. The core of the squad has gone. Do I expect to see Marquis here come the start of the season or come the end of the transfer window? No, I think he'll be gone. And potentially Whiteman as well. Two very good players that I think could play at a higher level. So, leaves us with Matty Blair and Cops, who are good players as well. But when you want loyalty, just look no further than Jamie Coppinger. Thank God he's still here. So with that, my expectations, we had a couple of additions before McCann left. Reece James from Sunderland, Halliday from Cambridge, and Madji Gomez from Leeds. I'm expecting more additions now that Darren's in charge. We got Ben Sheaf from Arsenal on loan, so hopefully get a few more additions to bulk the squad out, give us a bit of depth. But I think the main focus this season is going to be on youth and the development squad. So it's going to be a rebuilding year for me. I don't think there's going to be a lot to shout about for us Donny fans, but not much to worry about either. So moving on to my end of season table predictions, I'm going to start with the bottom four. If you're a supporter of one of these clubs, I'm sorry, somebody's got to be in the bottom four. If you agree with me, in the comments down below. If you disagree with me, in the comments down below. I enjoy reading them, enjoy replying to them. Also, there's going to be a feature this season, throughout the season, a comment of the week. It could be a question, it could be a statement. I'll have a look through them and that will be featured, as long as you're happy for it to be featured. So starting with the bottom four, I've gone with Bury, Wycombe, Wimbledon and Southend. So rock bottom, unfortunately, got to go with Bury. Finished second in League 2 last season, but off-field issues are putting the club in serious doubt. No additions as of yet to the squad. And then there's notable departures of Nicky Maynard and Dom Telford, a couple of good players who have left the club. 23rd, sorry Southend fans, but I'm putting you in 23rd this season. Finished 19th in League 1 last season. Goal difference kept them in the league. 7 players have been released. I don't think any of them will impact the squad too much. And 3 additions so far. Mark Milligan from Hibs in midfield is probably the most notable. In 22nd, I've gone with Wycombe. Finished 17th last season in League 1, 3 points away from the drop. Really, some of the more ageing players this summer, Nathan Tyson and Marcus Bean. Nathan Tyson used to play for Donny, very good striker, but getting on in years. And also Cowan Hall to Colchester, that could be a very big loss. He looked really, really good against Doncaster last season. And finally, in 21st, it's FC Wimbledon, finished 20th in League 1 last year, avoided the drop, on goal difference like Southend. 10 players have left this season, 5 players brought in. Luke O'Neill from Gillingham is not a bad signing, but for me, those 4 clubs are in the bottom 4. Moving on to the bottom half of the table, we've got Rochdale, Gillingham, Bolton, Blackpool, Accrington, Shrewsbury, Bristol Rovers and Tranmere. And the order I am going for is just avoiding the drop. In 20th, Accrington Stanley, finished 14th last season. It was really, really tight division last year. There was only 5 points away from the drop come the final game of the season. 7 players have moved on. Ex-Rovers player, goalkeeper Johnny Maxted, he's moved to Exeter, not bad keeper to be fair. And only 3 players brought in. Joe Pritchard is a decent addition. Bolton, going for them in 19th, finished 23rd in the Championship last season. And same as Bury, another team with massive issues off the pitch. Only 7 players at the time of recording currently in their squad. So it's not looking very good for Bolton. A lot of players have moved on. Big one for me, Sammy Amiobi. He's gone to Forest. Very, very good player. I think it's going to be hard work for Bolton, starting on minus 12 points. I think they'll claw it back. I think they'll just do enough throughout the season to avoid the drop, as long as off-field issues don't cause them any more problems in terms of points deductions or anything like that. 18th, I am going with Tranmere, up through the playoffs last season, finished in 6th in League 2, and it's a back-to-back promotion via the playoffs. They won the conference playoffs the season before, then League 2 playoffs last season. And I think for Tranmere, expectation would be to consolidate in the league. 8 players have been recruited. Stephen Payne from Bristol Rovers, not a bad addition. 9 players are leaving. A big one for me, James Norwood. Could be a very, very big loss. He scored 32 goals in all competitions last year. So where are you going to get those goals back from, Tranmere fans? In 17th, I have gone with Rochdale. Finished in 16th last season, so a little bit worse off, but it's another team that finished just above the drop last year. As I said, very tight division last season. 6 players brought in, but mainly a focus on youth, and 6 players have left as well. Brad Inman to Brisbane Roar was the one that jumped out to me when I was doing my research. In 16th, I am going with Shrewsbury. Finished 18th in League 1 last season, so slightly better season, in my opinion, is heading your way. They made the playoffs the season before last and then struggled all the way through last season, finishing just 2 points from relegation. They've made a few good signings so far. Donald Love from Sunderland and Ebanks Landell from Wolves. That will improve the defence somewhat, but 15 players have moved on. So I don't think, from what I saw, none of them would impact the first 11 that much. Correct me if I'm wrong, but I don't think any of them will be leaving too big a gap. So that's why I've put them up a couple of places from last year. In 15th, I am going with Bristol Rovers, exact same spot as what they finished last year. 7 players brought in. Luke Lehigh from Walsall, not a bad player. Tyler Smith showed glimpses of ability at Donny last year, played well against Burton, but then didn't really feature much after that. And 9 players have moved on, as I mentioned earlier. Stephen Payne to Tranmere, but he was much more of a fringe player for Bristol Rovers, so no big loss. In 14th, I'm going with Gillingham. Finished 13th last season, so they were another team who were looking over the shoulders until the final few games of the season. But they brought 9 players in. O'Keefe from Cardiff, very good signing. But 11 players have moved on, and the biggest for me is gone to the team who must not be named. Tom Eaves, 22 goals last season. He is a very dangerous striker. Gillingham fans, how are you going to replace those goals? In the comments down below. And the final spot in the bottom half of the table goes to Blackpool. They finished 10th in League 1 last season. Off-field issues seem to be a thing of the past, which is very nice to see. But they've not done a great deal of movement in the market. 8 players in, 8 players out. The one for me, the player in, is Kai. I think he could give the Blackpool something to shout about. Not a bad winger. So onto the top half of the table. From 12th to 7th, I have got Lincoln, MK Dons, Doncaster Rovers, Fleetwood, Coventry and Oxford. So we'll start with 12th, and it is Donny. Like I said earlier, I think it's more of a development season for us, finding his feet with a new manager. I don't think we'll get playoffs again, but I don't think we'll have to worry about relegation. So I'm going a solid mid-table 12th finish for us. As I mentioned earlier as well, a lot of first teamers have gone. 9 players have left, 8 players brought in. Some of those youth, but Reece James could be a good signing this season, one to watch out for. In 11th, I'm going with MK Dons. They finished 3rd in League 2 last season. They took the final promotion place last year, bouncing straight back from relegation the previous season. They've recruited 7 players. Hiram Boateng, not a bad centre midfield at this level. 7 players have left. Ex-Rovers, Matty Bowdry to Swindon. Very, very good defender. Just a shame about his injuries. Chuksanike, he's gone to Charlton as well. He could leave a big gap at MK Dons. In 10th, I have gone with Oxford. Finished 12th last season in League 1. They had a really poor start last year, and it had them chasing from Christmas onwards, really. But they had a great run of results, which pulled them into pretty much into contention for playoffs at one point. It was that tight, but in the end, it left them comfortable in 12th. 10 players have left. Curtis Nelson, probably the hardest to replace, centre back, but 5 players in. Tyreek Fosu, not a bad signing from Charlton. In ninth, I am going with Coventry. Finished 8th last season. Despite all their off-field issues, Coventry performed well last year. Just getting promoted and finishing in 8th is not an easy thing to do. I think they performed above expectations last year. Correct me if I'm wrong in the comments, but it seems that in the face of adversity, Coventry perform well, and it's going to be a tough season for them, playing all the games away from home. Home games are at Birmingham, but I think they've made some good additions. 11 players have left. Jack Grimmer, he looked good last year. He's left, but Coventry, no messing about. 13 players brought in. Ex-Rovers, Marco Morosi, moving from Donny. I hope he plays well. Again, just like Downing, play well all season, apart from when you play us. That'd be nice. But yeah, I think Coventry may surprise a few people, so I'm going with a 9th place finish. In 8th, I've gone with newly promoted Lincoln City, champions of League 2. Seemed to go on the holidays a little bit once they'd won the championship. They knew they were promoted, knew they got the championship, and kind of form dipped a little bit, but who can blame them? No players have left Lincoln this summer. So the core squad is still together. The managers there, fantastic. Really like the two of those names gone. But they brought 4 players in. The one that jumped out for me, Jack Payne from Huddersfield, quality player, a shining light at Bradford last season in a tough year for those. But yeah, really good player. So looking forward to seeing Lincoln perform well this season. So yeah, 8th place finish for me for them. And finally, in 7th, this is my dark horse, Fleetwood, 11th in League 1 last season. They've made some good moves in the market, and I think if Joey Barton gets some playing, they could be a force to be reckoned with this season. So 5 players out, none of which will make the club worse off, in my opinion. And 5 signings. Josh Morris from Scunny is a handy player. Paul Cooch from Sheffield United, getting on a little bit, but is quality at this level. And Danny Andrew from Donny, decent defender. Free kicks can be special. As with the other 2 Donny players, all the best this season. Danny, just don't play well against us. So on to the playoffs. I've gone with Sunderland, Burton, Rotherham and Peterborough. In 6th, just making it in, Peterborough, finished 7th in League 1 last season, narrowly missed out on the playoff spot last year, just 1 point away from Donny. I think Peterborough will be wanting to go one better this season. They've let 4 players go. Ryan Tafazzoli, he wasn't a bad player, but they brought 9 players in, so they've done bits in the market. Mark Beavers from Bolton, George Boyd from Sheffield Wednesday, very good winger, both good additions. And then Niall Mason, great right back, used to play for Donny. Social activity, not as good as his footballing. We'll just leave that at that. In 5th, I've gone with Burton, finished 9th in League 1 last season. I think they underperformed last year, probably performed below expectations for Burton fans. Probably expected to bounce straight back into the Championship. 5 players have gone. Jamie Allen, Kyle McFadden, both to Coventry, but 4 additions, Kieran O'Hara from Man United, good keeper, and John Joe O'Toole, both good signings. In 4th, don't really like to say this, but Rotherham finished 22nd in the Championship. I think they'll have a good season this year, similar to Barnsley last year. They've kept the majority of their squad together, so they should do well next season. Unlucky not to survive last year, but it's not an easy task to bounce straight back, as Sunderland and Burton have shown. Barnsley did it last year, but 2 out of 3, I wouldn't say struggled, but didn't set the league alight like some people thought they were going to. 8 players have left. I think the biggest loss for Rotherham is Will Volks. Very good player. going to be tough to replace his ability. They have been busy though, bought 9 players, Freddie Ladapo from Plymouth, not a bad striker, and also Carlton Morris from Norwich, a good striker as well. So Rotherham, for me, one team to watch this season. And finally in third, I'm going with Sunderland, finishing in the same place as what they did last year. Heartache in the playoff final, heartache at Wembley all the way through last season for Sunderland, getting beat by Portsmouth in the Checkatrade final and then by Charlton in the playoff final. I know which one they'd have probably sooner have won out of those two if they could have chosen. Do Sunderland have what it takes to go again? I think they do. They've kept the bulk of the squad again. Only 8 players leaving, but the most notable out of those is Lee Cattermole. All the rest, I don't think they'll really be impacting the first 11 that much. 3 signings to strengthen. They've got Conor McLaughlin from Millwall, very, very good signing. So we will see how Sunderland do this year. And finally, on to the top 2. It's the only 2 teams that are left, Portsmouth and Ipswich. I'm going with Portsmouth, finishing second, knocked out in the playoff semi-finals by Sunderland last year. Could this be a payback, just pipping them to second place? We will see. 6 players have left, again, none of which that I think will damage the team that much, and 8 players brought in. Paul Downing, very, very good defender. He's fantastic at the back for Donny last season. Wish we could have got him back, but he chose Portsmouth. Unlucky for us. And finally, top spot goes to Ipswich. Finished rock bottom of the Championship last year. It was a poor season, but I think they'll be wanting to put the wrongs right from last year and hopefully be able to put that behind them and bounce back. They've had 2 good signings in Luke Garbutt and James Norwood. I think James Norwood will be bagging goals in this league as he did in League 2. And by the looks of it, Ipswich have cleared a lot of the dead wood out with 9 players leaving. So that is my 2019-2020 league table predictions. We will do a reaction at the end of the season, see how close or how far away I was. For me, Rovers, I think we're going to have a steady season, but it's shaping up to be a very, very competitive league. So throughout this season, there will be match day vlogs and match previews for every single game, match day vlogs for the ones that I can get to. Home games should be at pretty much every single one of them. Away games, got to pick and choose, hopefully get to as many as I can. Any game that I am at, there will be fans' thoughts. So if you're a visiting supporter, I do like to have a chat with people who come to the ground, get their opinion and their thoughts on your club, on current state of affairs, how your results are going, and I also get score predictions. So if you're up for that, hit me up on my social media, which will be in the description down below, and I will let you know whereabouts I'm going to be, and then you can feature on the matchday vlog. And I mentioned it earlier, comment of the week is going to be a new feature on the match previews. So I'll look back at the comments on the previous couple of videos. It can be a question, it can be a statement, it can be whatever you want, and I'll choose maybe one, maybe a few of my favourite ones over the week and either answer the question or just have a chat about the statement. And that is it for my League 1 preview and predictions. Thank you for watching. It feels great to be back. It is nice to be creating football content once again. If you've enjoyed this video, big thumbs up for us, please. Comments in the section down below. Let me know what you think, where your team's going to be, what the feeling is like around your club, who you support. Put that in the comment as well. And as always, don't forget to subscribe if you haven't already, so you don't miss out on any videos. As always, thanks for watching, and I will see you in the next one.